Hello, this is Brianna Brown with Florida Biz Connect, doing another interview with one of our original founding members, Carol Mirones. She was also part of our Goldman Sachs class, and I'm super excited to be talking to her today about her business, which is Seasons Psychotherapy Associates. I have a big passion for psychology. That was actually my major. So again, really excited to hear how she's developed such an amazing company. And I'm sure she'll give us all a lot to think about and learn.
We have so much in common because I started off as an interior designer and you're an interior designer. And I think that interior design and psychology and being a psychotherapist have so much in common because as a designer, you're interviewing your customers, you're trying to figure out how they think, how their space will
Play the marriage therapist.
play the marriage therapist. And I just found that skill set from 30 years ago when I first went to college to changing into a second career served me well in this career.
Yeah, I agree. Like we did like a little bit of a life swap, right? But it's true. I think psychology plays an important role for any field, but especially one that's dealing with families and couples and personal nature. But of course, what you do is above and beyond. And I admire it because, there's a lot of people in
He's
need.
really struggling.
Yeah.
Really struggling. So we started Seasons as I went back to school after what I like to call a spectacular divorce in 2013 and decided that I had to redo my life and went back and got my MSW. It started in 2014 and it took me 4 years to get my graduate degree because I was raising four children, started off on my own, and subsequently in 2015 got remarried. And my husband and I started Seasons together in 2020. So it's been a little bit of a journey, but a great one. And I'm really proud of Seasons and what we created thus far. And Goldman Sachs I loved it. Anybody that could go and do that program, definitely do it. I think it brings you together with people like Brianna and the other people that I've connected with Florida Biz Connect, but also just the relationships and helping to get me to think about business and what I do here in a different light.
Yeah. Well, and like you just like scream psychologist to me saying spectacular divorce because most people will be like, oh, I had the worst, most horrible divorce. This is why you're like, no, it's spectacular. And that's the way like
Have to change it, whatever, how to change your perspective about everything. And my very first interaction with a social worker was at the age of 22. I'd gotten in a car accident and I broke over 30 bones in my body. Was in a wheelchair for about 2 years, in and out of surgeries. And I had like a home health social worker that would come to my house. I'd been married 2 weeks when I had this car accident the first time. But that social worker made a big impact on me because they just would talk. And I was 22. I didn't know anything. I was in the midst of pity party land. And they really just helped me think about my life in so many more positive ways. And I didn't think at the time that I would ever become a social worker, but it really did. Looking back on my whole entire life, it helped really shape who I was.
Yeah, and I think, at least from experience with my family and friends, I think a lot of people are very hesitant about therapy because they think that if they go to therapy, there's something wrong with them, or they're crazy, or they're embarrassed.
Yeah.
Right. But then once you've actually gone and spoken to a good therapist, it's life changing. Right. And especially if you work at it and you really listen to what they're saying. And I mean, honestly, I think everybody could use a therapist, if not always, but at some point in their lives.
I always tell people when they first come in those first sessions, and I train a lot of clinicians now as well, you'll never have a relationship that's like your relationship with your therapist because it truly is an unbiased relationship. We are only there for your needs. We are not looking for anything else in return. And they're just not going to get that type of relationship anywhere else. Your friendships, your family, whatever else, there's always that reciprocity. There's no reciprocity with us in the room. We are simply there helping you figure out why you think the way you think, what you, how your maybe family of origin, your trauma from the past, how it has contributed to perhaps relationship struggles in your present day. That's what I find the most often is what's happened in our past doesn't just go away. If you don't process it and kind of figure out a way to think about things differently or not have that either trauma response or immediate reaction or fight, flight, freeze, you don't figure out how to deal with that, it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
Need to figure out how to deal with it.
So for Seasons, do you work with children, adults? Like what's your scales?
So we treat everything. We founded Seasons really with the premise of not wanting to discriminate based upon funding, age. Diversity is one of our biggest values. So we treat as young as 2, 3 years old. We have a lot of uh, kid therapists. We have play therapy rooms, but we go all the way up to 103. We take Medicaid, Medicare, all commercial insurances. We have a free and low cost program during the academic year from August until April with student interns. So we will see people for as low as $3 to $5. So we really try to treat as many people.
See, yeah. I think that's one thing that drew me to you when we were at class together, because we had things in common, but a lot to talk about. But it was also your heart and soul is on your sleeve when you talk about your profession and why you're doing it and who you're helping, right? Like it's not just a passion, but it's what you truly love. It's so well. We'll come back to phase 2 of our conversation with Carol later. Thank you.